ODB, how's it going today?
Hey, what's going on?
I'm just hoping to ask you a few questions today if you got some time.
Yeah, I'm just on the food truck pulling pork. I'm good.
Well, again, it's great speaking with you. I appreciate your time today.
No, thanks for reaching out. That's awesome.
Well, first, I'll ask you some wrestling stuff coming up, but I want to know more about your new venture here as the owner of that meet and greet food truck company. How did that come about?
Oh, boy. I'm going on my third year with it, and I started it actually in Daytona Beach. I actually had the opportunity to work with Jimmy Hart down there at his bar right on the beach.
Okay.
So he asked me to come down, and I was right in kind of like the plans of doing my food truck, and then I was like, well, shit, let's go to Daytona Beach and start it up. So that's where it all began, and then did my first year with it in Daytona Beach, and then brought it home to Minnesota, and it hasn't left. So it's doing really good up here in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's interesting that Jimmy Hart kind of led you to this new venture, but it's a great story.
I know, right? You never know what an opportunity can do. Always take them.
Well, can you explain a bit about how the truck works? I mean, are you driving around like an ice cream truck, or do you have certain spots?
No,
you park in,
I wish I had a little bell I could just drive around. Those damn permits and licensing get in the way. But it's you have to be invited. You know, obviously a lot of people are like, "Oh, food truck, that's so cool. I want one." I'm like, it's not that simple where you can just park anywhere and sell your food. It's I do a lot of breweries. A lot of breweries in Minnesota are awesome. I mean, they're popping up everywhere, so they're a great place for us food trucks to park. And then I do a lot of festivals. I'll actually be going to Cadott, Wisconsin in June and July. I'll be at Rockfest and Country Fest.
Okay.
So that will be a lot of fun. And then I'll be roaming around. A lot of people. I do private events, graduation parties, wedding anniversaries, you name it. I'm pretty much doing it. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's just me. I do have a lot of good friends that help me out, but it's just me cooking all the food, driving around, getting all set up, booking myself. So it's a little hectic at times, but and by the end of the summer, my hands, I got the porkinitis because I've been pulling so much meat all summer.
Well, yeah, it's great. It's working out. I know you mentioned everyone thinks it's a cool idea and they want to try it out. I'm guessing wrestling kind of the same thing. Once people get into it, they realize
oh my God,
it's a lot more to it.
Well, they just look at the big picture, like wrestling in front of tens of thousands of people, and they're like, I want that. I'm like, it takes years and years to get to that to get there. And it's like the food truck. Like every time I'm on it, I just laugh, because every time there's always like a corporate dude. Like, yeah, I'm thinking about quitting my corporate job and getting one of these things. I'm like, oh, one of these things? All right, good luck, buddy.
Well,
you've got to have the passion for it, and just I love doing it. I mean, it kicks my ass, but I enjoy it. It's literally a meet and greet every time I'm on my food truck.
Well, and we've got NXT coming to Roy Wilkins here on April 28th, and you mentioned you'll be around there. Fans will maybe get a chance to meet you.
Yeah, actually, I'll literally be 5 minutes up the road. I'll be at a brewery called Dual Citizen, so it's not too far at all. And so I'm hoping the fans will stop there for lunch before the show and grab some pictures, and then hopefully some of the NXT boys and girls will come on out and try some of my meat. Yeah, that worked out perfectly, though. I happened to come across it, and I was like, oh, dang, that's literally right up the street. So it ended up working out perfect.
Well, I got to ask you, you grew up not far from us here in Mankato. I got to ask what you, I guess, led to you getting into the wrestling business. How did that all work out?
Well, just growing up in Minnesota, I mean, we had AWA, and we just had all the legends came from here. The Ganyas, you had, Road Warriors, Mr. Perfect, Rick Rude, and it's just awesome to be from here. And then I got trained by Eddie Sharkey, who trained a lot of them.
Sure.
It's just the history, I've been going to shows since I was little. I would wear my Ultimate Warrior sweatshirt, and and like it was just fun. My parents would take us to the shows, and we'd have a great time. Then we invite people over for the pay-per-views, and back in the day when they only had like 4. So yeah, it was fun growing up in the in the wrestling world. And then one day went to college, all that crap, and then came home and tried out for the very first Tough Enough. So that's what really, back in 2000, so that's what really got me really loving wrestling. And then I made it to the top 25 and didn't make it onto the show, but just had, right after that I came home. That's when I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it the hard way.
Well, yeah, obviously it worked out for you. And I know, of course, you made a name for yourself as ODB and TNA. And, at that time, women's wrestling was just as good, if not better, than a lot of the men's matches. I mean, that's a lot of people, I think, watch just for that reason.
Oh, gosh. I mean, I think the evolution even started back then. I mean, every era in women's wrestling had a evolution, but obviously this is the time where they're more focused on the women than they were back then. But we at TNA, us Knockout girls, like, we made history, and we put, women's wrestling back on the map, and we all were so different and colorful, and TNA gave us, main event opportunities and a lot of TV time. So I was at the right place, right time. So I'm glad I got to wrestle with who I got to wrestle with and the era. And it's just crazy to seem like it was so long ago. It's nuts.
Yeah, and it's interesting now, of course, the women's revolution or evolution really at the forefront in the WWE. But, as you mentioned, you guys in TNA were doing that years and years ago. How do you feel about that, seeing them kind of, I guess, catching up finally after all these years?
I know, right? Because we had pay-per-views back in TNA all the time, all the women's pay-per-view, and so it's just funny. Obviously, the WWE's the bigger company, but nowadays, like, shit, it's great to be a woman wrestler now because you got so many different companies to work for, and you can bounce around, ROH, AEW, WWE, TNA. I mean, it's awesome to be a chick wrestler right now. I mean, I still wrestle here and there. I still got it, But I will be wrestling actually soon in July in Tower, Minnesota, against one of my best friends, Lisa Marie.
Sure.
That will be a big show. It's heavy on wrestling, and Sting will be there, Jimmy Hart, Booker T. So it's going to be a big show up in Tower, Minnesota at the casino.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great that you're able to, kind of keep your foot in the wrestling side of things while you've got all this other stuff going on.
Yeah, as long as I can still fit in my outfit, I'm good.
Well, is there somebody out there now that you're seeing on the scene maybe you'd like to get a chance to work with if you could?
Oh, boy. I'm not sure about that. I mean, all the young girls, I just love, I wouldn't mind getting in the ring with some of the young girls at AEW. I think I could, give them a run for their money still. I love wrestling girls half my age nowadays. That's awesome. But always gives you a challenge, right? So I'm always up for the challenge.
Well, again, you got a lot of stuff going on. As you mentioned, you'll be parked outside here at Roy Wilkins for NXT on the 28th. Can you give us the details again on the truck and how people can find out where you'll be?
Yeah, follow me on Facebook under @TheODBBAM on Facebook. I post bi-monthly where I'm going to be each month. And then you can follow me on Instagram @TheODBBAM. And just keep looking. I'm pretty much going to be out. I'm not going to have a life this summer. I'll be living on my food truck this summer so I can take the winter off. Yeah, then I'll also, speaking of Mankato, will be in Mankato on Wednesdays for lunches at the food truck park.
Wow, okay.
Right by the
awesome.
college. If I start there, I'll be there May 8th. So everyone look for me there and come grab a pork sandwich on your lunch break.
Yeah, that's great. I'll definitely swing on up there and it'll be nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Awesome. Again, it's been great speaking with you. I got to mention, I started this show about 15 years ago or so, and the guy who joined me on the first episode, his name was Chuck Corpy, and he always
yeah, I know him.
He would always name drop you when we were talking wrestling, so it's kind of an odd connection.
Yeah, went to high school together.
Well, I just had to make
Yeah,
sure that he
absolutely.
actually knew you because he was
Yeah.
always bringing you up. So
He used to come to the house and watch the pay-per-views with my brother and me.
awesome.
Oh,
Well,
that's funny.
I'm looking forward to seeing you, and definitely going to catch you here in Mankato later this summer. But again, thank you so much.
Awesome.
I'll let you get back to work, but again, thanks a lot for your time today. I appreciate it.
All right, no, thank you. I appreciate talking to you.
All right, you bet.
All right, see you later.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.